What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me again. Today, I want to go over something that was brought to me a while ago by my dad. It was the idea of affirmations versus declarations, okay, and the difference between the two. Declarations and affirmations are similar in that they both refer to a statement of fact, opinion, or belief, but there is a difference between the two. Affirmations are statements we say to ourselves in the attempt to shift our minds in ways that can make us feel better about ourselves and our lives. The key word being attempts. Whereas declarations are agreements that we create with ourselves. They are a commitment to the statement said. They are not gentle and open for interpretation. They are not in the future. When you declare something, you are owning it now. You're coming from a place of being rather than trying to get somewhere. So that would be the biggest difference between affirmations and declarations. Now, I have, for many years written down affirmations and repeated them. And, there's no denying that it can help, right? It's definitely a help if you do it consistently over time. But that's all it feels like. It feels like you're trying to convince yourself of something, right? I really feel like that's the main time when we are using affirmations is when we, for whatever reason, we're trying to convince ourselves of that, of whatever it is we need or are trying to become or trying to, shift our energy into. Declarations are, on the other hand, are solid, they're strong, they're grounded. There's no room for interpretation, right? So declaring something instead of trying to convince yourself of something. Do you see the difference? It's either you try to convince yourself that you are confident or you declare that you are confident. You feel the difference? And in the morning, for example, if you read your affirmations versus reading your declarations, you can see that by doing one or the other, there's a difference in the feeling inside of you. And like Neville Goddard talks about, it's all in the feeling, right? So if we can feel that it's true first, then it can become true. So if you just are mindlessly always saying, I'm confident, I'm confident, I'm confident, just repeating the affirmation, I'm confident, I'm confident, I'm confident. Do you think you're going to become confident? Maybe it can have the effect with the consistency over a long period of time, maybe 40 years, or maybe not at all, because there's no feeling in it, right? So there's that, and then there's making a declaration, making a statement, creating an agreement with yourself. So you say, I am confident, right? You feel it. And my dad said something that was interesting. He said, a lot of people have the problem of, say you create your new story and you write it down, or you write down your declarations. When you read it, a lot of people will say that it's hard for them to say it and feel it because they don't believe it. They don't genuinely feel confident in the moment. And he said something interesting. He said it's not, when you have your declarations, it's not about how you feel in the moment or the past. It's about what you are creating, what you're moving into, right? So if I'm reading my declaration that says I am confident, but in the moment I don't feel confident, it doesn't matter. I'm not reading how my life has been. I'm creating who I am, right? We're constantly creating who we are. So if you look at it that way, instead of, I can't repeat that, I don't feel that way. It's not about how you feel now or in the past. It's what you're moving your being into. It's what you're creating for yourself for the present onwards, okay? So when you declare that I am confident, it's what you are now. It doesn't matter if you've been confident or not. It's what you are now moving forward. So you're creating that new version of yourself, which you're doing regardless. So whether you read your declarations or not, you're creating your new version of yourself every second. So why not do that intentionally and create the person you want to be? I heard a great quote. It said, create the person that you would want to become and then give that to the world. So in essence, think about all the people that you idolize and you admire for whatever they've done, and you say you want to be like them. Create that version of yourself, the best version of yourself, and then give that to the world. Does that make sense? And I heard that, I just really like that. Create the version of yourself you want and then give it to the world. It's very powerful. So yes, the idea of declarations. Create declarations for yourself. Write it down on a piece of paper. All your declarations, whatever they can be, or whatever it is for you. Every morning when you wake up, go through them. Read them aloud with conviction, with vigor, with strength, with, know that you're declaring that now. The second you read that, that's what you are. You're not trying to convince yourself you're confident. The second you read that with conviction and that feeling, you become that in that very moment. So go through that every morning, priming yourself for the day with the thing that you want to be, right? By moving into that space and just being it, instead of trying to convince yourself that you are that. Same thing, before you go to bed, do the same thing. Read your declarations. And over time, you start to see it stacks up, and you actually are creating a new version of yourself. So day by day, you start feeling more confident. Week by week, you start feeling more confident until you get to the point where you just fully are confident, right? Every day you're getting a little more confident, but there's going to be a point where you're like, fuck, I feel amazing. I feel so confident. It's those declarations, right? The difference of trying to convince yourself versus just being it, becoming it, knowing that you are it, and committing to that, right? So that's it for today, guys. Think about that. One practice, like I said, write down your declarations. What do you want for your life? What do you want to feel inside? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? Write your declarations, and once you've written them, make sure you read them every morning, first thing in the morning, right when you wake up, and first thing before you go to sleep. That way you fall asleep with those embedding into your subconscious mind. Okay? Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.